Hi, I'm SA, and this is As It Is. Today, we'll be discussing the purpose of work. Let's dive in. The purpose of work. So let me ask, how's work? Aha. Did you hear what she said? Hectic. Tomiwa, how's work?
Okay, so I no longer work.
Abid, how's work?
Work is fine.
Okay. So you get it. Work is different things to different people. Work can be crazy. If I ask myself how it's work, I'll say crazy, even though I like it. But crazy, it's always crazy. You're always chasing deadlines. Mm-hmm. You're always running over the place, trying to just make ends meet as well. So that borders around for me the idea of what is the meaning of work. So let me start with you, Grace. What is the meaning of work?
Work is what you do to earn income. In some cases, you don't do it necessarily to earn income, but something you find to do either passionately or for livelihood.
Fantastic. Abby, what's your take?
Work is that thing that gives you the opportunity to express yourself.
Tomiwa?
Yeah, I totally agree with Abby. Work is expression.
So I read a statement somewhere that says a life well lived is one that pursues meaning, and work is one of the primary ways we are pursuing meaning in life. What's your take on this?
Yeah, I mean, no food for lazy man.
Uh-huh.
You want to be hungry. So, I mean, if you do not have a source of livelihood, you'll be hungry. Except you have a huge inheritance somewhere. Maybe you are Elon Musk's great-granddaughter. You have money, so you don't need to work. But outside of the income anyway, it just gives you some sense of fulfillment. Your brain is working, you're able to do things, you're able to impact society, you're able to change lives, you're able to empower people around you with your service, your whatever it is that you do. Your work would do something in the society, to change something in society.
Abby?
Okay, yeah. Anything that I said helps you to find meaning. Like I said earlier, work gives you the opportunity to express yourself. Now, in expressing yourself, you are finding, an opportunity to be a blessing, to be a source of change, to be a source of inspiration, add value to people's lives. One way or the other, you are finding meaning, finding purpose, making the world a better place than you met it. Now, whether that comes in with some form of financial reward or some other forms of reward is a different thing. But work in itself helps you to find meaning, expression, adding value, making the world a better place.
Okay, so I kind of have a different opinion because, work, sometimes people just work because they want to make a living, because it's important that they make a living. It's important that they provide for themselves. So work for some people, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're making a meaning. You get, so I don't know.
So let me present a perspective. We work averagely how many hours a day? 8, 9 hours, depending on the kind of work you do. That is
those in the 9 to 5 sector.
Okay. So other people,
we don't work nights.
Aha. So if you spend 8 to 9 hours of your active day working, you have just 24 hours in that day. Multiplying effects, you're spending averagely how long? Say about 30 to 35% of your waking hour of your life working. Mm-hmm. Don't we think that it is important that that thing be more than just something to earn a living with? Don't you think that that thing should be something that eventually you gain something, something that drives you, daily? let me paint a picture. Well, reality. So there's a friend of mine, when I ask her, how's work? She says, oh, work is work. I say, what do you mean by work is work? She said, it's work. I go there, I've done the work and I've left. I said, don't you like it? I don't like it, but I have to eat. And then I look at her, she's always tired. She's always looking like overwhelmed. But she's great at what she does, honestly. She's one of the top people in our industry, you know. She's great at what she does, but so the idea is that for her was that, okay, so I went to school, I studied this thing. I mean, it's a professional profession. I went through school, I became this, you know, got all certifications in that area, and I'm doing what is expected of me. But if she could have her way, she would rather just have a toy store. Of course, she can't afford to do that because she needs the money, yes, income. So bringing this into perspective, how can people actually get to do what gives them meaning in life? Abel.
Okay. Over the years, I've always heard people talk about, should you do what you love or love what you do? Now, and people generally have issues with, okay, where is the balance? Ordinarily, the advice should be, you should do what you love. That is what comes to you naturally. That is what you are naturally good at. Maybe your gift, your talents, you know, something that helps you find meaning, express yourself. But if we bring it home, our reality, Nigerians, how many of us can really sincerely say we do what we love when we have bills to pay? And then there is something on the table that can pay my bills, even though I don't love it, but then it pays my bills. Shouldn't I push myself to start loving it? However, this is what I will say. Even if you find yourself doing something you don't really love, you should, one way or another, for the sake of fulfillment, for the sake of self-expression, for the sake of meaning in life, you should find a way of, I don't know, doing something that you love. It may be by the side, it may be something you just do once in a week, it may be something you do, but one way or the other, so that the thing about fulfillment when it comes to work, you also get satisfied with it. You should find a way of doing something you love, not just something you do because you have to pay bills. Yes, reality, like I said, this is Nigeria. I mean, talent does, like some people will tell you, talent doesn't pay bills. So
it's not paying bills.
Well, depending on where and how you're able to strategize and all of that. But generally, you just have to work, yes. But I still believe that one way or the other, people should find ways of doing the things they really love to do.
Grace, do you have any take?
It's important to have income. There's a time and season for everything. If at this stage in your life, you're not ripe enough to do what you love, for example, you're not able to get into that space, you do whatever it is pending when you're able to get into that space. If you can do it on the side as charity, at least you'll be happy. You know, but if you cannot combine it, then take it one step at a time. Gather money. The good thing about life today is you can work smart. You can earn money while you're sleeping. So you can invest in other things with your salary and all of that so that your monies will increase and then you then have capital or whatever to do whatever it is that you want to do. For example, the lady talked about that wants to do a toy store. You don't have to have billions of dollars to start a toy store. You can start small and grow big. You can sell online. You can be selling that on the internet while you are going to your 9 to 5. I'm not saying you should be using your gas internet
To market your toy.
You know, so after work hours, you can concentrate and, you know, get sales in. I, for one, I've never wanted to work for anyone. I've always had the entrepreneurial mindset.
Yeah, one of the blessed ones.
So I started off really early in my life working for myself. I only had a very short timing where I worked for. I only had a very short timing where I worked for an organization, and I knew this was not me. 9 to 5. It wasn't working. But I was just timing myself, and I knew that at the right time I was going to. I've only had 2 jobs in my entire life.
Interesting.
Yes, one in primary school because I love kids, and the other one in a studio, an animation studio. And I was just timing myself, because I knew that I was learning the ropes about animation while doing the job, but I knew that was not my end point. So there I was tired, and I told my boss I was going. Couldn't believe it. He wants to leave. He right there on the spot, he was like, I'm increasing your salary. I'm doubling your salary. Because I knew what I was doing. I was very good at my job.
It's not about the money.
It's not about the money.
Yes. Being an entrepreneur hasn't been so easy, but it's fulfilling. Like, I feel really happy with what I'm doing. I may not have Dangote's money yet. I'm getting there.
That's good.
But I'm happy.
That's fantastic. Tomiwa?
Okay, so like Charity said, I feel that we should start inculcating the habit of volunteering. Yes, you might have a job that you really don't like, but you have to do it because you need income. You need to make ends meet. Okay, so you like this other thing. Okay, so maybe you work in the bank, and then maybe you like fashion. Yeah, I know it's not so easy, but then you could take some time to volunteer, maybe at a fashion store, learn the ropes, and then start building from there instead of just saying, oh, I can't do this, I can't do this. We need to learn to broaden our minds to the fact that there are certain things that we can do. Like I tell myself, I can do hard things. I used to work before. In fact, I tell people, when people say 9 to 5, I say, no, my job was not a 9 to 5. My job was like a 9 to 9 or 9 to 10. Yes. There are days.
One day to the following day.
Yes, there are days when I leave the
done.
office, the job has to be done. You cannot tell a client that, oh no, you have to go. You want to close. You have to finish the job. So I had to leave the job because it was beginning to affect a whole lot of things. And then in line with it, that I was a bit lost, but then I found something else that I love doing. And I'm enjoying it. I'm home, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But I am finding purpose in what I am doing right now. Do you understand? Tech. I transitioned into tech.
See, there's money then.
Okay, yeah, so it was the money that first attracted me to it. Having to work at home, working remotely, and not go to the office, not face traffic, not have a boss shout at you, not have a client shout at you, From there, I found purpose. Like, oh, okay, I could actually do this and still keep my family, still be there for my kids, and still find purpose, and still be fulfilled, and still make money, which is very important.
Very important.
Yeah.
Okay. So one question: How can a young person navigate an unfulfilling career in Nigeria?
That's a hard question. It's a hard question. You see, the challenges we are faced with in this country are too numerous, and they come from various angles. And if you have to now start analyzing all of them one after the other, I'm sure we won't leave this place. But then, you see, life is life. And one of the things that make you strong is the challenges you face and overcome. Okay, and then if you bring in the Bible perspective and all of that, you say we are more than overcomers. The reason you are more than an overcomer is because you overcame. Okay, so if you don't overcome, then you are not an overcomer. So the challenges are there. It is now left for you as a person to look at these challenges that are peculiar to you, the ones that are peculiar to you, and ask yourself, what do I need to do? You may not be able to, of course, at the same time, surmount all of the challenges at the same time. But start from, okay, which one is the easiest one to overcome? Face that one and then overcome it. Now, the fact that you're able to overcome that one will give you the courage, the boldness that you need to, okay, what is the next one? I overcame this one. If I can do this, then I can also do this one. So I think that way we can begin to easily, well, maybe not easily, gradually, navigate our ways through overcoming these challenges. But the challenges will always be there. There's nothing we can do about it.
To also buttress what Abiodun said, I feel that we also need people also need to be able to take risk. We get so comfortable being in a comfort zone, and you are thinking, salary at the end of the month. If my boss he should make money. If he he should not make money. At the end of the month, collect my salary. We also need to learn to put ourselves out there and try as much as possible to take risk. It might not be easy at the beginning, but we need to try. Take it one step at a time. Okay, so I want to be a fashion designer, for instance. I want to make ready-to-wear clothes. Okay, where do I start from? Put it down, write it down, draw a timetable for yourself. I'm still doing my 9-to-5 job. I want to do this. Where do I start from? Oh, okay, I need to register my business name. Do that. Take a break. And then you keep looking at it. Oh, okay, I've done this. And before you know what is happening, you would have, within the twinkle of an eye, you would have gotten to a level where you're like, oh, wow, I actually did this. So we need to be able to put ourselves out there and take risk, not just sit in our comfort. It's easy to sit in your comfort zone. I did it for a very long time. Just sit down and say, no, I beg. I don't want anything to disrupt this flow that we are in. But I decided to take a leap, take a plunge and say, if I perish, I perish, man. But you see this thing, I'm going to do it. Which is why I am where I am today. So I guess that's...
So certain people start out on a career path and it's interesting, it's fun, and then you get into a situation where it stops being interesting. Of course, several different factors. It may be an horrible boss, it may be a very challenging environment and all that. When you get to that point, what do you do?
You change your plan. You're allowed to have a plan B, right? You're allowed to start all over again. You're allowed to pick yourself up and try again. You're allowed to do so many things. You're allowed to change the pattern. Just change. Just do whatever it is that you feel will make you happier. You may have a vision. You may have a 5-year goal. You may have a 10-year goal. And along the line, so many things can happen. COVID happened. None of us was
prepared for it.
But we adjusted.
None of us. Yeah.
It changed everything.
I mean, everyone was stuck in the house. Some of us were still working, interestingly. Some people were still working, but some couldn't. There was no way around it. There was nothing, So, even if you have a plan as mature as you are, because you're talking about young people now, it can still, no matter how perfect you are at planning, things can still happen. Echo Bridge tomorrow, you might not see it there, and you have to find a way. So you just change your plan. That's it. And find something else that make you happy.
Interesting. Abi, what do you think?
Okay. Getting stuck. You've done this for like 10 years, and somewhere along the line, you find out that this thing is no longer interesting. Maybe just for natural reasons, it happens to people. You just get there. It's like, I'm not finding fulfillment in this thing anymore. Or maybe some other things happen, and then it's like, this is not what I saw, this is not what I wanted. And you're asking yourself, what do I do from this point? Now, it may not be easy. What to do may not come easy. The decision to do that next thing may not come easy also, but at the end of the day, you realize that there is something else that you need to do. Now, something else you need to do may mean to change work environment, especially if that career is one that you have always wanted to do and you want to remain. So it may just be to change work environment, look for work somewhere else, new faces, new route to going to office in the morning and coming back in the evening, freshness of some sort. It may be that. Then it may be to, like we have said here, take risk, go and start something of that nature on your own. It may not be big, maybe to start small. The money, the income that comes from that may not be as much as you are earning in this place, but then again, you are still in line with what is core to you. And, you may have to start small. And then for some people, it may mean to actually change completely what you are doing.
As in turn around completely.
360.
Or even relocate to Abuja.
And it could also be
Yeah. Yes, it
Go
could
to your
be.
village and make money.
Let's go somewhere else.
Yes, so but then when you come to that point, there is always something to do. Now, I also understand that sometimes pinpointing what it is to do may not come easy. But if you sit down very well, think through over time, you realize that there is always something else to do.
Then it could also mean you just taking a break from everything, from work, from family, from the society, just taking a break. We tend not to do that because everybody just keeps going on autopilot. But we need to cultivate the habit of, just take a break, pause, breathe, and then think. It might just be maybe person is tired. It might not even be the job. It might just be your mental health. It might just be your emotions at that point in time. So taking a break too could help because maybe by the time you get back, you'll see that.
What if you are not able to take a break? What if the work does not allow you to take a break? What if a break means that you're fired?
You're fired.
Yeah, then you're fired.
You're fired.
You gotta look
Because for your mental health, for your emotional stability and
to be
all,
bold.
you have to be able to do it.
You have to.
Oga, if I need to do this for my sake, for my sanity.
Society, families, parents, they need to start making young people realize that it's not just about work. I have a youth. I almost mentioned her age, and I'm sure if she watches this, she'll be like, so the youngest in my family, she's just done with youth service. And, I saw her a couple of days ago, and I was like, oh, what are you doing? She said, I'm applying. I've applied here, I've applied there. She's applied for jobs. I'm like, why? She was looking at me like I'm weird. I said, yeah, why? She said, because I want a job. I want to get income. I said, how much are you looking at? So she mentioned and I laughed. I said, you can make that money on your own without having a boss, without going to some office. So like, really? I said, yes. You already have some little items you were selling. So why don't you take your time, push this thing, set a target for yourself that you want to pay yourself a salary at the end of. Now look through your phone. Every single person, I'm sure you have over 1,000 contacts. She said, yes. I said, start telling them about what you do. And you would not believe it. She was telling me just yesterday, because I told her, we had this conversation like 2 days ago, 3 days. She was like, oh, I just made some sales. I said, and if you keep going at it, you would not need a boss. You would be able to work on your own. The only reason why you go to 9 to 5 is just to get structure, to understand structure. You don't necessarily need to get proper, employment anywhere.
Yeah, but our culture has made it that you go to school, start from primary, secondary, you go to the university, you study a course like law, medicine, accountant, and then and then you work in an office. You have to work in an office, wear the suit, wear the tie. That's what the culture has taught us.
But it's changing.
Yes, we also need to start understanding that, oh no, it's not I will never work in a bank. I'd already said it right from childhood. I can't work in a bank. I can't work in some environment. All my work experience has been either in the entertainment industry or the fashion industry. Places where I thrive, where I know that I don't have to dress corporate, I don't have to do. So we need to also let the younger ones come in, know that you don't have to do a 9 to 5 before you can make money. You can start from where you are. My son, I've told him, if you don't want to go to university, please, by all means, it's not compulsory. Tell me what you want to do. I find out that he's creative. He draws. he likes journalism, he likes talking. If that is what you want to do, please, by all means. I will not be the one to tell you, you have to go to the university and then you have to go and study medicine.
That's the 2022 parents.
Yeah.
Okay. So I met somebody a few years ago, and he was in production, advertising and production, and he studied in the UK, came back to Nigeria, set up something big. Maybe all the money he made from the UK brought here and started working. We lost touch, and I saw him, say maybe about a year ago, and I was like, "Oh, senior production, what's going on?" and all that. And then he ends up, and I work in a bank. I'm like, "What happened to you?" He said, "Man, this unstructured work. It was a struggle. I couldn't feed my family. I loved it, but nothing was happening for me." What do we say about such as well? So this is somebody who started from a place of love, excitement, pumped money into it, doing what he loved, but got to a point where it meant that he was either going to die.
He didn't love it enough.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. Because, I mean, if you have that entrepreneurial spirit, or if you have that, you would know that there'll be dry seasons. I mean, if you're planting a crop, you would know that you're not getting the harvest the same day.
Immediately.
There's a season of planting. There's a season of wetting the crop. Sunlight, it takes process, and then before you get harvest. Even when you harvest, are you going to eat everything? No, you still have to take back some to replant, and then you go through that season again. So there must always be the dry spells. Look, even the biggest billionaires in the world, they have experienced it. So if you don't have that discipline to know that, look, I will go through phases where there will not be. So you have to have that mindset of the Joseph situation where you plant, you store, you have the storage, and you know that, oh, there'll be seasons where I will not have anything. So let me have something that's like some kind of savings that I can fall back on. And then continue, keep going. It's tough. Running business is not for children. If you're not ready,
I
you're
like
not
that.
ready.
Yeah.
If you cannot do it, you cannot do
Yeah,
it.
that's true. And then aside the dry season, I feel maybe he didn't have a business structure. Because I've come to discover that a lot of businesses that are, in quote, maybe one-man businesses, fail to put in structures into their business. They just go into business, oh, I love this, I want to do this. And then they fail to realize that there has to be a structure. There has to be an accounting structure. There has to be a business in itself structure. There has to be a business management. It's not just the business. It's not just, I love to do this. I want to pump money into it. You need to be able to have structure
And plan.
for this and plans for this thing to succeed. So I guess that's also another part that could have caused it.
Abe?
Okay, they have all spoken well, but then again, we may not at this point know exactly the reasons why it came to that point and decided no more. Let me go and look for work. Okay, so we may not know that. But then again, when somebody comes to that point and you have to decide, should I continue to try and keep at this, or should I just abandon it and go and look for work? Only you can tell yourself the truth at that point. Only you can tell yourself the truth.
So you need to be honest with
You need
yourself.
to be honest with yourself and tell yourself, okay, maybe I should let it be for now. Go look for work.
You can always go back.
And then come back to it.
Okay. So job or work? What's the difference?
What do you mean?
Job. So I go for a job or I'm going to work. Is there a difference?
Not really.
Sure.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think
I don't know the same.
I did the
You
same.
work at a job.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's semantics at the end of the day.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it is. Even for those who are CEOs, they go to work.
Go to work.
You know.
There's a perspective that a job is that one that you just do for money. Your work is that one that you do and sink your whole self into it. It's your passion, it's fulfillment. You can't live and breathe without doing
No,
it.
no. In Nigeria, it's not like that. Now workshop. Now where they
Work,
work, they
very
shop. I'm just kidding, but really, I think it's just synonyms.
Okay.
I don't think there's a difference. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay. So I read this somewhere. You work to get money, to live, to try and enjoy being alive. But it takes away the very things that you need to enjoy life. Time, health, relaxation, creativity, energy, positivity, friends. This person says it's a lose-lose situation with no solution. Only those lucky enough to be wealthy or find a job that isn't hateful are able to come close to the good life.
I don't think so. Today, life has changed. Somehow, thank you, COVID, because a lot of organizations now, they allow their staff to work from home. You can work virtually. You don't have to sit at a desk, sit in Lagos traffic or wherever traffic for inhuman hours. So, you can work on your smartphone, you can work on your system and get things done. You don't, even while at work, you create relationships. I have friends from work that are still, when I worked, that are still friends today. And they're always bonding times. They're what they call that thing? They used to call it something like...
Same building.
Yeah, they had all those things that you go for some retreats or whatever. And that's some form of relationship thingy that you don't have to lose everyone in your life. There are weekends when you don't work. For example, if you work weekdays or shifts, the times when you're not at work, utilize it to enjoy your life. And then when you have a salary, are you using all your salary to pay transport? Is there no money to eat, pay career or something?
But this situation they are saying, it's not the norm. In a lot of cases. There are cases where people actually just work. The only day of rest is maybe Sunday, and then Sunday they may just get a call from the boss that there's fire on the mountain. Show up.
Yeah, so there's something called burnout, which is real. You can get burnt out easily. You have to pace yourself. Sometimes put off your phone. Is it by force? Somebody will come and beat you.
And get fired.
You won't get fired. Your phone
We
is
live
off.
in
There
Nigeria.
are bosses that
We
don't.
live in
There
Nigeria.
are bosses that don't expect your phone to be off. You can't give them a
That's
reason that
excuse.
is good enough that your phone was
should be
switched off.
Yes.
Okay.
There are bosses like that.
Go and pray on that. But ordinarily, if your work is too stressful, as you're working on that job, look for another one now. The day tie your leg that you must sit down there. Look for another job. You don't. Are you planning to work there for the rest of your life?
I think
to
another
start looking
angle,
for-
another angle, which I think is affecting most of us Nigerians or most people who work like the kind of work we're describing in Nigeria, is the working in a one-man setting. If you work, most people who do corporate work that have good structures, it's not like they don't have their own
I like
challenges.
that have good structures.
Yes, so-
there are big organizations that
bad
have
structure.
horrible structures.
Yes,
as
yes. So
well.
That you
good
still have to
structure.
work
But majority of people that work with one-man business
Businesses
arrangement,
have.
they're the ones that have most of these challenges that we're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. It is the boss directly that will call you, and there is not. You can't say no to your boss. He says he's in the office. You want to close. He just arrived at 4:30. He won't leave that office until 9:30 or 10 p.m. And you say you want to go. Good night, sir. Which mouth will you go and use to tell him good night? So these are some of the challenges that we face in Nigeria. And maybe, I don't know, if there is something else you can begin to do as you attack all those big organizations.
Is there anything else?
There is.
Functional.
So these are some of the things. How do you expect somebody to be productive when he doesn't go home on time? And you are expecting to also resume early enough, the following day.
With a smile on the face.
With a smile on the face. And then most of the time, you don't even pay the salaries as at
When do you?
You owe him 3-4 months salaries, and he cannot dare come late to work.
Or something happens and then maybe something gets missing in the office and then
You accuse him,
and then you deduct
and
from
then
salary.
oh God,
And that should be the motivation to look for something else to do.
or start something.
Or start something. Really, why would I? Except you don't know who you are or what you can do.
But do most people actually know themselves?
That's just what I just wanted
They
to
have
say.
to
That
find
some people.
themselves. They'll need to find themselves.
And then sometimes, again, like we said in one of the other episodes, the general Nigerian system You know, even you come to the point where you know that, okay, by this time I should leave, I should go and start something. Then you are scared of, if I go now, because some of the basic things that should be in place to help you at least gradually grow, they are not there. There is no light. Then you have to raise money to buy gen. Then you buy the gen, there is no fuel. When the fuel is available, it's too expensive.
Or not available.
You know, so you have to now be thinking, and am I sure I want to leave this job?
Leave.
Okay, so I want to talk from the male perspective. I feel it's easy for the woman, especially one that is married, to easily say, "Oh, I'm going to leave this job.
Tired.
I'm going to resign. I'm tired," because there's somebody.
Yes,
whether
the man
you
go
like it
bear
or
the
not, he will
brunt.
still give you some form of money. You can still tell him, "Guy, Alpha, what's up?" Exactly. And then he would still give it. But for a man that has responsibilities, that has kids that are going to school, I can tell you 70% that man is thinking first of
About
his family
and all the responsibilities.
he has before thinking about himself. Because the kids will go to school, they will eat, they'll come and ask, "Daddy, can we have this?" So it's I don't know, it's kind
That's
of
why they are
dicey.
risk takers.
But not all men can do that. I don't know if
Unfortunately,
if I'm
but I
wrong.
mean, while you're there, you can look for a job that is higher paying, or you can look for a part-time job so that you can also be chasing your dreams on the side, so that it's not too much for you.
not too much.
You know, or you can go and do Big Brother, make money.
What if you don't get in?
I'm just kidding. But you see, I'm just, I just feel that it comes back to the mind. What is in your mind?
Who are you?
Afraid?
Who are you?
Are you scared? I do not totally agree that it's only the male folk, because there are women who are breadwinners too.
Yeah, true.
There are women who are single mothers. There are women who have so many responsibilities on their head you can't even imagine. So it's a human thing for me, and it's where you are in life and what you're deciding to do with your life, because nobody knows tomorrow. Nobody has tomorrow in their hands. Yeah. So it's for you to say, okay, I'll die and I die. Make we try one.
Interesting.
And then the thing about getting to that point where you make up your mind, if I die, I die. Usually you don't die.
Most of
you get stronger.
Yes, you just find a way around it. You just find some way around it. And I'm happy that now in the schools they have entrepreneurial classes. I heard at some point in Ghana that they had this gap year thing that you must go and learn a skill. I think they tried it one time.
There's actually vocational trainings it's part of the curriculum right now in Nigeria.
For what? For university?
From primary schools.
Really?
Yes.
I haven't heard of that, actually. I do know that they have clubs, entrepreneurial clubs, but I didn't know that was part of their...
There's vocational training as well.
Okay. So if they have a skill, I saw a viral video of a 6-year-old boy sewing on a machine. I was like,
oh yes, I saw.
And look at that kind of child. He cannot be hungry.
He can never be hungry.
Because people will always have to be warm. Even if they don't wear clothes for fashion. They wear clothes because mosquito will bite them. Or they have to be protecting their...
Like blind.
Their bodies from cold. So he will always make money one way or another. Even if he goes to school or doesn't go to school, he'll make money.
Okay. And I also like the fact that we're beginning to look more to entrepreneurship and skills. Because in our time, you would dare not tell your father that you want to go and learn tailoring or you want to go and learn something.
Except you did not go to school.
Except you did not go to school. But for a father or for a parent that is educated or wants to be the bragger that my daughter or my son is a medical doctor, is a graduate.
So
I'm grateful now that, we're beginning to toe the line of getting skill set. It doesn't necessarily have to be 4 walls of the university. Yes, primary, secondary is important, but then we're beginning to understand more vocations. Let them do more vocational stuff than confining them to the walls of a university.
And the
Fantastic.
good thing again is now globally, we have same certification for those on the skill side and those from the formal learning side. And recently in Nigeria, that just started. It's been accepted all over the world. So if you're a carpenter, you can be a certified carpenter, even if you can't speak a word of English or whatever it is. You'll be at the same level as someone who went to get
A
a
BSc.
BSc or HNG or whatever it is.
In carpentry.
Yes, and
Does that exist?
yes, it does actually, it does. I'm actually going through a
Interesting.
course right now that.
Like teaching carpentry.
No,
Okay, not
that's
carpentry.
teaching. I'm the daughter of a carpenter. Don't worry, I'm happy to be a carpenter, but my muscles are too small.
Okay, so in closing, just a line from you. What does it mean when you work with purpose? What does it mean when you work with purpose?
Okay.
In closing.
Yeah, to work with purpose for me would mean you do that which gives you fulfillment, that gives you what gives you meaning, what helps you express yourself, what helps you to add value to people, to life generally, and of course, at the end of the day, it adds value to you, both with the money value and the non-money value.
Tomiwa.
Okay, so for me, it will mean that I'm happy, I'm at a place of peace, and I can function properly without having to struggle or stress.
Nice one. Grace.
Okay, for me personally, it is achieving the things I want to achieve through the work I do, impacting lives, and being able to pass the same knowledge I have to someone else, so the person can also earn a living. Yeah, so that's
Fantastic. So you heard it as it is. We have just said it as it is. Working with purpose is about finding fulfillment, doing what I want to do, earning a living, and impacting lives. See you next time.